Well, we made the decision we wanted to build an arena in San Francisco, and part of the deal when you want to do that is there would be no public money. So it's a heavy lift. It hasn't been done in decades. I wouldn't recommend it as a formula. A few $100 million of public money would be really nice to build one of these, but we knew it at the outset, and we're close to the finish line.
And the partnership with Chase as well leads to another initiative, which is you want this to be a cashless stadium, ultimately.
Well, obviously, payment systems are an important part of Chase's business, and their experience really here with Madison Square Garden in New York and their experience in treating customers in arenas is really second to none. So we've been able to really leverage off that expertise, and we think we have some pretty exciting things to come.
How are the fans dealing with that? Big move from Oakland. You've had diehard fans coming up through the Warriors' tremendous rise.
Well, I think we've spent this year celebrating our 47 years in Oakland. 70% of our season ticket holders have already decided to come with us as season ticket holders in San Francisco. We love that building. It's the oldest building in the NBA, older than Madison Square Garden. And as we look out in the next 30 or 40 years, we needed a different facility to really generate the kind of revenues we needed to be a competitive championship team.
What have you guys in the NBA more broadly got right? Because looking at the statistics, last year it was a record fourth year in a row that attendances rose. The streaming service, 63% growth, total revenue increased 25%. What's the NBA got right that perhaps some of the other sports haven't consistently done in the last 4 or 5 years in a row?
Well, I think we have extraordinary leadership. Adam Silver has done an amazing job as commissioner, and I think we're touching something socially with our audience. I think that if you really look at the social media stats and look at where our audience is, we're looking at that really coveted younger demographic who's really resonating with the personalities of the players and the teams of the NBA. That and the fact that I think our international play over time is going to really be what separates us from the other American sports leagues. We really do have an opportunity to take this sport internationally in ways that I think football and baseball won't have that opportunity.
I've seen that firsthand with the sneakers business, the international appeal of some of these players. On a more local level, though, how much is this the team of Silicon Valley? How important is it to the DNA?
Well, incredibly important, and I think long-term it's a big part of our personality. It's a big part of why players who at some point in their careers have an opportunity to play wherever they want, see Silicon Valley and the Warriors as such an exciting place. They can interact because of who they are. They can interact with executives from every company in Silicon Valley and learn from that, and some even start to be investors.
Well, on that point, in fact, being investors from the players, I mean, clearly Steph Curry is a bit of a pioneer in getting involved in the VC world and really setting himself up in the future. But does that rub off across all of the players because of him and his leadership, but also where you are based?
I would say even more Andre Iguodala, Kevin Durant have really taken upon themselves to learn about these businesses, learn how to invest, and they've actually been leaders in this space. I think you'll see more and more NBA players doing the same thing.
In terms of the social media aspect, how has that changed? The nature of the fans' interaction, but also for the players. Are there areas where you sort of regret the level with which the players get themselves involved?
There's no turning back, right? This is how players across the league interact with each other. 50 years ago, players on one team never knew players on another team. Now they're friends, and it does change the dynamic. It changes how teams are formed. It changes how they think about where they want to play. So I do think it's been a really, really big factor.
This has nothing to do with you, but there's been a really odd story about basketball in the news this week with Michael Avenatti being charged with extorting Nike, all centering around, the amateur league and coaches getting paid for bribery and all of these allegations. How big of a part of the sport do you think this still is that basketball has to overcome?
I think we still have some things to clean up, right? And the NBA, the Players Association, the NCAA are having really substantive conversations about how we can change the system so it serves the student athlete better. Right now, a lot of the things we're doing really don't work. The one and done, the 1 year in college and then to the pros, isn't working great for the colleges, isn't working great for the NBA. There's got to be a better way to do it that actually treats students like student athletes and gives people a better background and preparation for their careers.
Rick, just quickly, finally, given the great success of the last sort of few years for you guys, has that raised the bar now of expectation? I mean, what is necessary? What is a bare minimum for the next 3 or 4 seasons?
Absolutely, and who wouldn't want that kind of pressure? Would we rather have not been to the finals 4 years in a row? I don't think so, or not won 3 championships. We kind of like where we are right now.